Okay, part two. Me going through all my George Harrison albums here. The last video I went through all the albums that were released on the Apple label, and now I'm going to go through everything else in George Harrison's discography. And the next one is 1976's 33 1/3. This was the first released on his label, Dark Horse Records, which was through Warner Brothers, I think. Does it say here? Yeah, it says Warner Communications Company. This is a really good album. I really like this one. I think it's a little underrated. Are the songs on here? Yeah, there you are. Okay. And I also have it on CD. The thing about the Dark Horse label albums is that they were out of print for a while. And when getting into the solo careers of the Beatles, I would sort of think, wait, where's this album? Where's that album coming from? Why can't I find it on Amazon? And it turned out they're out of print. But 2004, the Dark Horse year's box set came out. I did not get it in box set form. They did separately release all the albums and the DVD that came with it. So I did do that. Not for all of them, but for most of them. Now, this album, again, I think it's pretty underrated. Woman Don't You Cry For Me is good. I always liked Dear One. This song, which was his way of dealing with the He's So Fine, My Sweet Lord lawsuit. See Yourself was good. It's What You Value. Cracker Box Palace was a hit for him. It's a good one. Also, great promotional video or music video. Yeah, this is a good album. I like it. And this was from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when they were having a record show. Next up is his 1979 self-titled album. It's called George Harrison there. I only have this on CD. This one is good, but I don't feel that it's as good as 33 1/3. And there's, I think what turns people off about this album is the synthesizers. There's a lot of electronic synths and whatnot going on in this album. But it's not bad. It's not a bad album. Love Comes to Everyone's a good opener. Not Guilty, song coming from all the way back to the White Album sessions. And the Beatles version is on Anthology 3, which is more a bit of a hard rocker. This one's a little bit laid back. So I like that one. Here Comes the Moon is good, but really, I already got a song called Here Comes the Sun, so I find that a little bit, I don't know, corny. Soft Hearted Hannah's okay. Blow Away I like. Faster I really like. I think it's the later half of the album that's really brings it down. I do like Soft Touch though. I really can't remember the other ones really, but it's not a bad album. It's good. So there's that. Next up is Somewhere in England. George had a hard time releasing this one. He had recorded one version of the album with the cover of him with some sort of cap, and it was in black and white. You can see it now on the reissued CD copy from 2004. But Warner Brothers were unhappy with the album. They thought it was too depressing or something, and they didn't like the cover. So he went to re-record it, and they put this album cover on this. And I have 2 copies of this album. Why? Because the only song that I really wanted to hear when I got this one from relatives was All Those Years Ago, which is his tribute to John, who had passed away the year before. And there were scratches or clicks and pops on the track, and when I had the USB turntable, I was so disappointed in this because it's the one song I want to listen to, and you know, it's sort of ruined. I mean, it didn't skip, but you know, being how OCD I am, you know, I had to get another copy of it. for 12 bucks. So, and it says here near mint. Now, is it worth having 2 copies of this album? For me, no. It really hurts me to say this because this just isn't a very good album. I can't really remember any of the songs on here. Blood from a Clone, I guess, is okay. All those years ago. I mean, I can't really remember how the other ones go. Hong Kong Blues, I think, was probably good. I can't remember, but if anything, the only thing this album should be remembered for is all those years ago. If somebody wants to disagree, leave in the comments section. Tell me what songs you like from this album. Yeah, but all those years ago was, it was originally supposed to be a Ringo song. George was going to give it to Ringo, but then once John was murdered, George decided to keep it for himself, rewrite the lyrics, and then have Ringo play drums on it. And then he had Paul, Linda, and Denny Lane, all 3 from Wings, on backing vocals. And I think Paul may have played bass on there. So it was the 3 surviving Beatles paying tribute to John. And it was 1982's Gone Troppo. This one is not good either. It's okay in parts. I mean, there's a few good songs on here. But I can remember it more than, or I can remember more of the songs than on Somewhere in England. The weird thing about this is that even though I can remember more songs on here than Somewhere in England, this is probably considered the weaker album. Wake Up My Love is okay. Can't remember what that is. I Really Love You is memorable just because it's so out of place with everything else on here. It's like a doo-wop song. It's a cover tune, at least. Gone Troppo. Dream Away is great. That was used for Terry Gilliam's Time Bandits, I think it was. Yeah, that's my favorite song off the album. Then 5 years pass. George does not release an album in those 5 years. I think he may have devoted it more to raising his only son, Danny, and just being with his family, mostly, I think. But then 1987, he came out with an album, his first in 5 years, and that was Cloud 9. This is an older copy of it. This isn't the 2004 remaster. This is my dad's copy. I really like this album. It's a really great comeback album for him. The title track's good. This Is Love is good. When We Was Fab. Which is about Beatlemania. And, it's a fun song. Funny video. Really cool stuff to watch. Devil's Radio. Bit of a deep track. Breath Away from Heaven. It's good. And Got My Mind Set on You. Which was, to date, the last Beatles song or Beatles solo track to reach #1. But I almost forgot to mention what came next was the 2 Traveling Wilburys albums. Now those I do not have on hard copy. I do have the first one on cassette. I got them from iTunes, which I sort of regret now because, I didn't have the money to get the hard copy, but then, grandparents gave me $10 each month, or for 10 years, my grandparents gave me $10 each month to spend on iTunes, and since I wasn't going to be there for 2 months because of camp, I got that set digitally. So for the Traveling Wilburys albums, they're good. Mostly I like the first one. The first one's awesome. Handle with Care, Dirty World, Last Night, You're Not Alone Anymore, and The Line, Tweeter and the Monkey Man. Great album. That first album was really good. Now, their second one, Volume 3, is not as good. One thing to note about it is that Roy Orbison had died shortly after the first album came out. So, since they felt like they were missing a part of the group, they titled the second one Volume 3. Volume 3 is okay. I only listened to it again earlier this year, and before that, I listened to it when those reissues came out in 2007. And compared to the first album, it's just not as good, but from memory, good songs on there. She's My Baby, Seven Deadly Sins, Cool Dry Place, Inside Out, and then Wilbury Twist. Those are the only ones I can remember right now, so there's that. And then after that, George released the album Live in Japan, which was a 91 or 92 concert. I don't know what the occasion was for, or why he decided to perform in Japan, but it happened. I don't have that album. But then, yeah, he just stopped making music. Didn't record any solo albums or anything. So, and then that was it. George had his cancer in '97, and 2001 he passed away. Now, during the time, during his, I think somewhere probably when he was diagnosed with cancer, he started working on a new album, and I think it was near completion, or I think he had completed it by the time he had passed. Whatever the case may be, a year after he passed away, Jeff Lynne and George's son Danny decided to complete the album, and that album is Brainwashed. There it is. This is my copy. It is water damaged. I listened to this album about a year. I did a marathon of George's stuff a year ago, all the solo stuff, and I forgot how good this album was. It's a really, really good album. Any Road is great. It's on P2 Vatican Blues, Rising Sun, Marawa Blues, Second Side Cloud, Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. Love that one. And the title track, which is a good way for him to go out with that chant at the end of him and Danny. The next one here was a freebie from the college radio station, and I did show it in a video when I was given it by the radio station. And I'm talking about an album that came out when. This is 2011, 2012, either or. I think it was 2012 this came out. And it is Early Takes, Volume 1. Now, there's the cat right there. This, I think, is supposed to serve as the soundtrack to Martin Scorsese's documentary on George, Living in the Material World. Now, people keep asking, when is there going to be a Volume 2? When is there going to be a Volume 2? There's the cat. I don't know if there's going to be a Volume 2, because I looked at the European copy of this album, and it's called Living in the Material World over there. Why would you call it that when you already got, where is it? You already got this album right here, which, the title comes from. Danny was interviewed by David Frick from Rolling Stone magazine, and he said there might be a Volume 2, so there's a little promise, a little hope there. This is a really surprisingly good disc here. The only downside is that it's only a half hour. Come on, give us more stuff here. Yeah, all of the songs on here, really good renditions of them. Did you like this album, Domino? I think he liked it too. Do you want a Volume 2 too? Do you want a Volume 2 as well? I think he wants a Volume 2. Yeah, really great disc, and I think this was the tie-in with the DVD release of the documentary. And as far as the documentary goes, I think it's good, but there's some stuff missing. Yeah, even at over 200 minutes, there's some stuff missing in the movie. But again, it's a good movie. You should go see it. Just keep in mind it's really long. So yeah, that's it for me for all the my George Harrison collection. So yeah, see you all soon. Bye.